What's going on YouTube? It's Chris from Out West with Chris, and today I wanted to chat with you about using Google Earth to help plan fishing trips. You can use Google Earth for a wide variety of things: planning fishing trips, camping trips, scouting out, hunting areas, all sorts of fun stuff. But today I specifically wanted to talk to you about using Google Earth to plan out your fishing trips. This is going to pertain more to kayak fishermen, but this information is good for people that fish from the bank, if you fish from a boat, that type of thing, because you can utilize Google Earth to scout out all these areas around you. You can figure out if there's a launch at a lake, if it's a developed launch or a rudimentary launch. If you're a bank fisherman, you can figure out, a good idea of bank fishing access, that type of thing. So this is an area that I fish a lot. This is the California Delta. And it goes up into here, down into here. So it's a big area. One area that I fish quite a bit is Frank's Tract. This is Frank's Tract. And a lot of times I'll launch from right over here. This is Russo's in this area. There's another launch right over here called Sugar Barge. So there's a few launches up and down this slough right here. And I'll fish this stuff. I'll fish down in here. I fish a lot of this stuff quite a bit. And the nice thing about this is you can get, you can drill in and get an idea of what you're dealing with. So, this is a bunch of tules right here, and it's kind of grown in a little bit more than that now. And then you get mats of different vegetation and algae mats and all sorts of stuff like that that kind of stack up in these areas. And in a kayak, you can totally get in here and, paddle around and fish this stuff. So it's pretty cool. So that's one cool thing about Google Earth is, it can get you an idea of what types of areas you're going to be fishing, especially if it's a new spot. The other day, I was in this area and I saw this. This is a new development. And I got to thinking, I wonder, that's got to hold some fish. And there aren't people in there that you're going to bother, but there's a lot of structure. I don't know how deep it is. It's, probably fairly deep. Levees and riprap all over the place. There's probably not a lot of vegetation going now. A little bit. Looks like some of these docks are, destroyed. But a little bit of vegetation here and there. So I got to thinking, all right, if I launch from my normal spot, how long of a paddle is it going to be? And that's a major consideration for me because I paddle. I don't have pedals yet. Maybe I'll get some in the future. And I don't have a trolling motor or anything like that on my kayak. So I've got to think about it. Okay, how far away am I going to be? How much time do I have to allow to get to where I want to fish? And then how much time do I need to allow to get back? So that type of thing. So to figure that out, I pick a spot. I usually launch somewhere around here. And you can totally hear my clicking mouse. That just adds to the realism of this, I guess. Anyways, you start to see that the miles are stacking up. We're at 2 miles already to get back into this area. So 2.5 miles just to get to the mouth of this, development. If I want to fish it, I might need to launch from someplace closer. So I could cut down probably 3/4 of a mile if I launch from here. This is a spot called Sugar Barge. So that would cut me down a little bit. Or I could scout out another place to launch. There are launches all over the Delta. So just kind of looking around here, it looks like clear. Looks like that is possibly a launch. A lot of times you can click on these symbols and it'll bring up information. There's a web page, a phone number. You could always give them a call, an address, and a lot of times you get a picture too. So it gives you an idea of what you're dealing with, what you're looking at. This looks like a spot, San Joaquin Yacht Club. A lot of times the yacht clubs are private. That's a Chamber of Commerce. But if you look right here, it looks like there's a launch. So one thing I can do to, get an idea of, is it a public launch or whatever, is I can drop this little dude right here. Bam. Oh, let me try that again. Drop him right there. All right, so that's the area. Sure enough, you got a launch. And it looks like this is called Sunset Harbor. You got a parking lot area, launch ramp fees. So it looks like, yeah, they might have a Dropbox slip type setup. A lot of the launches will do that. So you take a little slip, fill it out, put your money in an envelope, and then put a little thingy in your car dash so they know you paid. And that way you can launch when nobody's there. So cool. Now I know I could launch from here. So let's just give that a measurement. Let's zoom out a little bit. Looks to me like it's going to be much closer. Let's pull it up. So that's just a little over a mile to get in. Almost a mile and a quarter. But that's going to cut down on my paddle time quite a bit if I want to get in here and fish this area. So Google Earth is a cool tool. You could do a lot of stuff with it. I have found areas that I've wanted to fish and launches and all sorts of stuff just by using Google Earth. There is a launch right here, Tiki Lagoon. So you can, click on that, take a look, go to their website, see their hours, their phone number in case you want to give them a call in advance. But you can also, like I showed you before, you can drop your little dude and take a look around. So you can see this is an older picture, but not really high res, but kind of gives you an idea of what you're dealing with when you fish here. There's some people right there. They're fishing. There's a boat right there. That guy's fishing or doing something. But you can see that, there's a little bit of bank access. Now, total disclaimer, a lot of these levees are privately owned. This stuff is, a lot of it's privately owned. So you need to kind of watch for signs. If it's posted, try to respect that. If you don't see any posting signs, you're probably okay to pull over and fish from the bank. But just something to think about. But yeah, you can utilize, see, that dude's fishing. You can utilize Google Earth to, find spots to bank fish from in the Delta and where you're at too. So lots of cool stuff that you can do with Google Earth. I found one of my favorite fishing spots, actually. I don't know why it's my favorite. I don't catch a lot of big fish there, but I found it by just looking around Google Earth too. And I was up in this area of the Delta. And I was just looking at some of these waterways up here. So I zoomed in and I saw this and I was like, what's that? So I, took a look at it and I'm like, I think that's a public access area for fishing. See, there's a parking lot. There's something right here that looked like a launch to me. I didn't really know what it was. It's actually not like a boat launch. You couldn't launch a boat from here. But you can launch a kayak from right there. And I started looking around. I'm like, this looks like a pretty cool place. You can see, timber in the water. It looks like it's a little bit shallow, brush right into the water, more down timber. And you can get an idea of the area that you're fishing. So you can totally scout something out. It looks like it's pretty shallow right here, and then you get a decent drop off. A lot of times those fish will hang in that drop off area. Sometimes if it's high tide, they'll go back in if they're chasing food and stuff like that. One thing I do is I'll take my kayak with me when I go camping, and I'll try to hit some area lakes. Recently I stayed at a place called Hermit Valley Campground, and that is way up here. And I tried staying at a different campground, but this was the only one that had room, and there was a lot of room in this campground. But I knew of a few lakes up here that I wanted to try to fish. One was Lake Alpine. I actually did not fish this lake during that trip. I have fished it before, and some big fish have come out of here. They plant it, so it's mostly planter fish, but occasionally a big fish will get pulled out of there. The lakes that I wanted to fish a lot and I wanted to camp, there's a campground right up here, were these two lakes. This is called Mosquito Lake. It's actually kind of two lakes separated by like a little berm, but it's a pretty cool spot. Gorgeous, just totally gorgeous up here. Two lakes that I found that I thought were really cool, and the way I found them was by exploring with Google Earth prior to my camping trip, were these two lakes up here. And that's exactly how I found them. I just zoomed out, started looking around for bodies of water, and bam, these two lakes. And these lakes are gorgeous. I caught a couple of fish up here. It was super windy the day that I fished this. The wind just rips right over this, into this valley. You're on a mountain in between two peaks, basically. And a cool thing about Google Earth is you can get your terrain. See that this is just a gorgeous spot. I mean, that lake goes right up to that cliff, basically, and then the water just goes overflow, But fished this one and caught a couple of little fish, but would not have known about it if it wasn't for Google Earth. So I'm just gonna put in a random location. Let's go with someplace in the Midwest. Let's go Nebraska. Nebraska. Okay. I've never been to Nebraska before. Let's say that you are doing something in Nebraska. Let's say you're at this place called Burwell, visiting family, and you're like, I really want to go fishing while I'm visiting my family in Burwell. I've never been here before. Get on Google Earth and you're going to see this behemoth. So that's Calamus Reservoir. So this is a pretty decent sized reservoir. It looks pretty cool. You got some of these inlets right here, little bays. That's pretty neat. But you can see how far across it is. That's a mile across, and it looks like it's going to be pretty long. Man, look at that. That is long. 7 miles long. So for a kayaker, that's long. For a boater, that's, not really a big lake. But we're going to see if there's a launch. It looks like there's a campground here, or an RV park. Yeah, an RV park. And you get a launch. I don't know if it's a public launch, but from this information, I could figure out, okay, if I'm in Burwell, I can go fish this. Knowing nothing about it, you could get on your smartphone or your laptop or whatever, Google it, figure out if you can find any fishing reports for it, get on the fish and game department for that state, for Nebraska, whatever they would call it in Nebraska, and you could figure out, fishing regulations, if there's closures or seasons for this particular reservoir, all sorts of stuff. And you could make a decision, okay, do I want to fish this? Now I'm back in my little area, and you can always use your search function, boat, launch, California Delta. Pop that up and boom, look at that. All sorts of stuff. So you can see, some different options come up for places to launch. Pretty cool. Rivers and Marina. Lots of cool stuff that you can do with Google Earth. I highly recommend you get on there, play around, explore your area around you, and then actually go outside and explore the area. Whether you're fishing, hiking, camping, Google Earth has a lot of built-in tools that can help you plan your next trip. I highly recommend you check it out. If you don't have Google Earth on your laptop or computer, a lot of you have it on your phones, but if you don't have it yet, go download it. It's a free download. Hey everybody, if you stuck around this long, you're awesome. And to kind of pay back that awesomeness, I'm gonna do a little giveaway. All that you have to do to enter is, first of all, be a subscriber. I will verify whether or not you're a subscriber. So be a subscriber. And then secondly, just comment down below, just comment. Just say, hey, I want to win that. Or, hey, interesting video. Or, hey, you don't say you suck or anything like that, because I probably won't give it to you. But anyways, comment down below, be a subscriber, and here's what we're going to do for the giveaway. We're going to give away this little rattle trap. So, just a silver rattle trap. Gonna give that away. So that's gonna go in this box right here, in the box. We're gonna give away some soft plastics. This is a net bait contour worm, smoke purple, going in. We're gonna give away some Super Salt Plus Salty Super Flukes in white pearl. That's pretty hot around my area. That's going in. Gonna do some Zoom Bait Trick Worms, okay? That's a green pumpkin trick worm. A couple of sapsucker lures in orange and yellow. Jean LaRue, a little purple, kind of like almost like a stick bait, but it's got kind of a funny little tail on it. So anyways, these are going in. Also from Jean LaRue, these are some threadfin shad. And last but not least, from Reaction Innovations, these big old worms. Geez, it's a magic crawl swirl. So they're big, they're fat. I bet you these will catch some bass. So those are going in too. That's a lot of stuff. This is gonna get mailed out to some lucky winner. Stay tuned to more videos on the channel in the month of December where we're gonna do some more giveaways. So this is the first one for December. Not bad, you know, not amazing. I am on a budget here. So if you like the video, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe. And as always, thanks for getting out west with Chris.